Most people never noticed when soldiers cracked. Not physically, no limp, no wound, no dramatic collapse, but invisibly, in the places that didn't show on a uniform inspection. It hid under the steady salute, behind the direct stare, beneath the clipped, disciplined words. It was the weight in their posture, the tightness at the corners of their mouth, the way their eyes sometimes drifted off as if remembering something they wished they could forget. Daniel noticed, not because he was trained to and not because he was trying to, but because he lived with cracks of his own. He saw them the way someone who had already broken learned to see fractures in others, quietly, instinctively, without meaning to. Some wounds didn't bleed. They echoed, and right now, in the cold early morning hallway, with the lights humming overhead and the smell of cleaning chemicals faint in the air, he recognized it in her, the soldier, the young woman sitting on the bench nursing her baby against her shoulder, exhaustion tugging at her features. She wasn't crying. She wasn't trembling. She wasn't even speaking. But something in her had loosened the moment the baby fell asleep, and the silence that followed wasn't peaceful, it was fragile. He kept wiping the counter by the old coffee machine, mostly to give her space. Daniel had never been good at stepping into people's lives uninvited. He'd been treated like a background fixture for so long, someone who mopped floors, emptied trash, tightened leaking pipes, that blending into corners felt natural. Safe, but now, his hands slowed, because her silence felt familiar, because he recognized the way she exhaled, too heavy, too shaky, the kind of breath people took only when they'd been holding the world together for too long. The baby shifted slightly in her arms, a soft squeak muffled into her uniform collar. She cupped the back of the child's small head, fingers gentle, steady, practiced. She had done this routine hundreds of times, maybe thousands, but routine didn't remove the weight. It only hid it. Daniel had lived that truth for years. He remembered pacing the tiny one-bedroom apartment after Lily's fever wouldn't break. He remembered running late for work because the babysitter canceled again. He remembered lying awake wondering if he was enough, if he was doing anything right, if he was failing at everything and his daughter would pay the price. Those nights carved lines into his soul the same way military deployments carved themselves into a soldier's. Different worlds. Same cracks, and looking at her, the dark crescents under her eyes, the tension that lingered even as her baby slept peacefully, he knew she'd been holding herself together with grit alone. She didn't look at him. Not yet. Her eyes were fixed on her son's tiny, perfect face. Her thumb brushed his cheek with the kind of tenderness that didn't need words. But the longer the hallway stayed quiet, the more Daniel felt the story she wasn't telling. A story held together with long nights and long marches, with duty, with exhaustion, with loneliness. He took a slow step toward her, careful not to intrude. "Do you want me to warm up the room heater? Gets a little chilly this early." Her eyes flickered up, not wide, not startled, but tired. Deeply tired. That would be really nice. "Thank you." Her voice was softer than he expected. Rough around the edges. Like she hadn't slept properly in days, maybe weeks. Daniel nodded and crossed to the wall, clicking the old portable heater on. It whirred to life with a low hum, pushing warm air into the hallway. She let her head fall back against the wall behind her, not collapsing but close to it. "I didn't think anyone would be here this early." "I'm always here this early," he said with a small shrug. "Easier to clean when the building's quiet." Her lips twitched, almost a smile, but not quite. Quiet is rare these days. He wanted to ask why. He wanted to ask 100 things. But questions were heavy, and she already looked like she was carrying too much. So he didn't pry. Instead, he sat on the bench across from her, not too close, not too far, and let the silence stretch in a way that wasn't uncomfortable. Her gaze drifted down to the sleeping baby again. Daniel watched her shoulders lower, inch by inch, as if the warmth from the heater was loosening muscles that had been clenched for years. Most people would have missed that. He didn't. "Rough morning?" he asked gently. She huffed a breath, half laugh, half defeat. "Rough month." He nodded. "Yeah. I've had those." Her eyes lifted again, and this time she really looked at him. Studied him. Maybe she saw the same tired shadows in him that he saw in her. "What's your name?" she asked quietly at Daniel. She shifted the baby slightly, adjusting his blanket. "I'm Maya." The name suited her, simple, strong, nothing fancy or dramatic. Just real, Maya. A young soldier with an infant in her arms and the kind of weariness no 20-something should carry alone. "Maya," he repeated softly. "Nice to meet you." Her eyes softened. "You too." A moment passed, then another, the hallway heater hummed. The baby breathed softly, tiny chest rising and falling. The world felt still. Not peaceful. But still. Maya's grip tightened just slightly on the baby's blanket. Her jaw flexed. People think because we wear uniforms, we can handle anything, she murmured, almost to herself. That we don't break. That we're made of something stronger than everyone else. Daniel didn't interrupt. They don't understand. Her voice weakened. We break quietly. Where no one can see. Because they expect us to stand straight no matter how much it hurts. Her eyes glistened, not crying, not even watery, just shining. The way eyes do when someone is on the edge of saying too much. Daniel leaned forward slightly, elbows on his knees. You don't have to stand straight right now. Her breath trembled, that was all. Just one little tremor, but it told him more than any words could. You're allowed to be tired, he added gently. You're allowed to be human. Something in her expression broke, not loudly, not visibly, but inside, and Daniel felt the echo of it in his own chest, because he knew what it was like to be seen just enough to let the mask slip. That he didn't know her story yet. He didn't know the battles she fought or the nights she survived. But he recognized the quiet collapse of someone who'd carried too much, too long, without anyone noticing. Most people wouldn't have seen the crack, but Daniel did, because he lived through his own. And in the dim school hallway, with a baby sleeping and a heater humming and dawn slowly rising, two kindred fractures met, not to fix each other, not yet, but to rest, even if just for a moment. Apichahan to Har Chapter K5 AI Photo Prompts, Bilik Didahun, Baskh Dejai.